Do I have the Pistons or do you as we move on?
You have the Pistons.
All right. Happy, Dan. Really happy to have the Pistons. One of my favorite off seasons. Drafted Asar Thompson at number 5. But before that, hired Monty Williams to the richest head coaching contract in NBA history. That is a huge deal. I would love to know the mechanics. I think there's been some reporting on it, but it's like, he was never going to say no to that amount of money.
The reporting was basically he tried to say no,
he did,
and they made it so that he couldn't.
But credit the Pistons for there's not, there's all these salary constraints, and all we've spent the last several months talking about is how the CBA makes it harder to build a good team and keep it together. It's like, you can spend whatever you want on a coach, so do it, because especially for a team like the Pistons, that's a ton of young guys that wants to be good, that has operated kind of weirdly at times as a team that's like, well, we're going to keep Bojan Bogdanovic and we're going to extend him because he's valuable and he's going to make us bet. Like, this is the move. So Monty, I have no problem with paying Monty Williams as much as you possibly can. Brought in Joe Harris, brought in Monte Morris, with seconds attached to Harris, and all it cost was a future second to get Morris. Signed Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart, 4 years, $60 million, could go up to 64. I think there's a team option on the last year of that, which is awesome. I'll throw it to you, but I struggle to find fault with almost anything that the Pistons did.
Waiving RJ Hampton was unforgivable. So this is not a real demerit for me, but they gave up like kind of a lot to just get Marcus Sasser at, what was that, number 25 or 27? It was just, they gave up number 31 in 2 seconds. I guess it's not like a huge deal. So that's just something to monitor. But I love everything they did. And anyone who says that them turning their cap space basically into Joe Harris and Monte Morris is a failure, it's not, because who are they supposed to get? If they wanted Cam Johnson, guess what? The Nets weren't letting him leave. So it's not like they allowed the Nets to keep Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson would just never leave in Brooklyn. That's how restricted free agency works. I like the idea of rolling over their flexibility into next summer. I love the Asar Thompson pick. I think you could argue, well, he was the only pick on the board. It was, when you look at the makeup of this team, they might have decided, do we trade down? Do we go with someone who might provide a little bit more spacing right off the bat? I'm a big believer in Asar Thompson as a defender, and I think, I don't know what he's going to be as a shooter, but I have more faith, and I've said it countless times, on his jumper than Ahmed Thompson's jumper. I think that the speed is at least there. Can they make some tweaks to the form and the release point? We'll have to wait and see. But I loved everything about their offseason, and I think, look, the Beef Stew extension is fine. He is not, when you talk about how sort of topsy-turvy they are up front, he's not really a part of that, because he comes closest to allowing them to make dual big lineups work, where it's, he can step out and take the occasional 3. And 4 and 60 is just, it sounds like a lot, but with the cap going up, it's just, 10% of the cap at one point is what it's going to be, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think he's a hustle enough player when you look at him on defense specifically, that I think it ends up being good for you. I will say, I hope that you don't go out and get Joe Harris, Monte Morris, keep Bojan Bogdanovic, and Alec Burks if you don't intend on, we're going to try and surround Cade Cunningham and or Asar Thompson and or Jaden Ivey with as much shooting as possible, to where, one, throw the dual big stuff out the window. And like, we're going to see Bojan Bogdanovic play the 4, maybe Joe Harris play some 4. And then we're going to see some staggered lineups where it's Jalen Duren and it's Cade Cunningham and all shooting. Or it's maybe it's Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, and then still all shooting around them. And then mix and match with Asar Thompson there, where it's, if you want to have Thompson and Ivy and Cade Cunningham, you want 2 of them on the court at the same time, well, then your big man's going to be, we're going to experiment with Isaiah Stewart at the 5, and then a whole bunch of shooters. So I hope that's what this spells. I know a lot of people are still assuming that they're just going to start. They were starting James Wiseman and Jalen Duren by the end of the year. I hope that's not what we see. That has nothing to do with their offseason. And it's, you could say, they should have traded Bojan Bogdanovic. You get the same amount for him leading into February as you would have gotten for him in July. Yeah. So I think they're A offseason. Their offseason was an A. I just struggle to go A+ because I don't know enough about Marcus Sasser, but I haven't seen anything that makes me think, that's a move that you definitely needed to make. I know you're like giggling.
I just want to write down, remember to monitor Marcus Sasser because you made it a real. Look, it's like, that's what you have to do when you're looking for reasons to criticize this offseason for them. I don't think I gave any A+. I gave the Pistons a flat A. Probably would be my A+ if I were to give one.
Right. Did they have we don't want to spoil the Western Conference here, but did they have like the best offseason of anybody? They might have.